Kerala has become the first state to lift restrictions on the lockdown in many parts of the state, including saying that vehicles might be allowed to return on an odd and even basis, and even restaurants, initially it was suggested, might be opened. But the center then wrote a letter to the Kerala government saying that some of these norms violated the lockdown. To tell us the exact position and also explain to us what Kerala has done that the rest of India could learn from, we're joined now by Kerala's Finance Minister, Dr. Thomas Isaac. Thank you and welcome to the show, sir. I want to start by asking you to clarify for our viewers. Kerala became the first state to ease the restrictions in the lockdown. And from what we read, barber shops were going to reopen, restaurants were going to reopen, bookstores were going to reopen, and vehicular traffic was going to be allowed back. But now the center is objecting. So where do things stand exactly, sir?
No, those are not issues that we are going to quarrel with the center. We have expressed our opinion that states must have more flexibility in determining how quarantine should be implemented. And we have modified the districts, reclassified the districts into different zones. Center has not objected to that. What I understand is that they have objected to restaurants being open. There is some sense in that criticism. And therefore, restaurants will be open, but they will be selling only parcels, okay? Take home. In fact, there are about 1,500 community kitchens and people's restaurants open to, even under the height of lockdown, selling parcels, about 5 lakh parcels every day. So you can just phone and book and we'll deliver you home free. That's it. So that is modified, that they can sell only parcels. Regarding barber shops, yes, barber shops will continue to remain closed for 1 more week. And then bookstores, I don't understand that. People don't sit in bookstores and read. It's not a library. And people would like to buy books. I thought it was a very nice gesture to make. And we haven't decided on that. If they insist bookstores to be closed, we'll close the bookstores also.
Before I get to the more serious stuff, I do want to ask why the Kerala government thought it important to reopen bookstores. As a lover of books,
No.
yes, I love it, but people might say this is quite self-indulgent. Is this really the priority?
No. See, what do people do in the house, lockdown house? Just watch TV? Well, you get bored after some time, yeah? We encourage people to read books. In fact, the chief minister has been saying so in his evening briefings to the press. We encourage them to have WhatsApp quizzes. My constituency, we had a youth festival. We had 32 items were competition for competition, and at time would be announced. This is the last entry time for this particular item. By then, everybody has to upload the video, and then it's reviewed by a jury, and awards given. See, people to be engaged. You cannot lock down people in the house. We have been encouraging them to take to kitchen garden. In fact, Kerala has lost the habit of eating. People have doing other jobs. So now we have been making it a point, pushing everybody to cultivate the kitchen garden. So also books come that way, that people must read books. So for me, I thought it was a very simple thing. You go and get the books.
But sir, where is the final position now? What all is Kerala opening? And you have obviously modified your order after the center's objections. So where do we stand right now? What all is being opened and what all is remaining shut?
You see, we broadly follow center's guideline, except for certain minor things. They have opened jute. We don't have jute, but we have choir. So like that, there are differences. So otherwise, we broadly follow center's guideline. But we are trying to evolve a very clear-cut exit strategy. Now, a major challenge is going to come for us. Once the lockdown is withdrawn, we are expecting something like 5 lakh people from Gulf, Europe, and other states to come because everybody thinks Kerala is safe. Now, that's a big issue. You're going to deal with 5 lakh people flying in. Then we have got about 13% of our population is above the age of 60. And you have got the higher incidence of heart ailments, cancer, and all this kind of lifestyle diseases.
Yes.
So we are going to tell them, okay, those who are coming from outside, they will be quarantined. All these old age peoples and vulnerables, they have to remain strictly indoors. Nobody are out. We are trying to enforce it, that they remain in the house. Rest of the able-bodied should go and work, and keeping social distance norms and so on. So we have drawn up an exit strategy. What all industries will be open? We start with agriculture, then industrial self-employment, then small-scale industry, like that. And in the industries also, we have decided that we are going to pay special attention to certain sectors which will contribute to fighting COVID. So, say, our pharmaceuticals, we are going to fast forward our idea of having a pharmaceutical park in Kerala. Our research centers in Kerala, like Sri Chittaranal Medical Center, Rajiv Gandhi Biotechnology, and so on, they have produced a large number of devices and equipments. So we were going to encourage people to take them up so that we can convert this into an opportunity that Kerala will be much stronger in the pharmaceutical industry. So we have drawn up an exit strategy.
Sir, can you clarify what all activities will be allowed from today onwards? For example, the original Kerala order was allowing vehicular traffic with some modifications, some restrictions back on an odd-even basis. Is that still the case? Are cars being allowed back on the roads?
See, the review committee is meeting. We have a number of committees and a high-powered committee under the CM. So this process of meetings have started on the light of whatever instruction that we have received from center. By evening, we will be taking a firm decision. Now, we have strictly prohibited any inter-district vehicular traffic. Now, the red area, northern 5 districts, no vehicular traffic at all. On the other hand, in the said 2 districts, there is no case of any COVID. Then there are 3 districts where very marginal to 1 or 2 cases only. There, our original idea was, okay, some vehicular traffic can take place, but only 1 person to sit in a seat. In 3-seater seats, only 2 persons can sit, and so on. And we were thinking, okay, the ticket price would also be higher because capacity utilization will be much lower. But in the light of whatever the center message, they will be taking our call later, and evenings, Chief Minister will be speaking. So I certainly do not know now what is the decision.
What do you feel about the center getting involved in this decision? Do you plan to go along with what the center asks you to do, or will Kerala assert its own mind on this? How will this work?
No. See, we are not going to create trouble on this count. Okay. We say, okay, all right, we have different opinion. We tell the opinion. Now, at the national level, you decide, okay, this is the way forward. Fine, we'll accept. But there are other criticisms on which we are very vocal and will continue to be. The states are on the front line of this battle, big battle. And every state, I think, have been involved very earnestly. Some states slightly late, and therefore they're having problems. But I think every state is very serious about it. Now, to date, only additional money resources given to states is just 7,000 crores as part of the health package. 15,000 crores were announced. Half of it will be distributed this year, only that. Nothing else. Now, this is strange, yeah? Everybody knows. The states in India, this has been a month where there will be no income, absolutely no income. And central devolution, which is the normal tax share and so on, because central collection is also very low, is going to be also minimal. Then how do the state manage the government? How do we find money for, say, health preventive activities and curative activities? How do we find money for, say, transferring some money to the people? You lock down people for 1 month. Okay, there's no income. Whatever savings they might have had is exhausted. I think these people do not substitute themselves in that position. Just think the salaried people, starting from ministers down. You don't receive your salary for a month, what is going to be a situation? But nobody cares a hoot. Get your transfer some money to the hands of the people, yeah? So where does the money come from? I think is highly unfortunate. India government so far has not announced any package for the states. In fact, what they're doing is they're forcing every state to cut expenditure, which is absolutely crazy. In times such as this, every government all over the world is expanding expenditure. And here in India, the states are forced to cut expenditure.
Yes. Can I ask you, though, you said that you do not plan to create any trouble on the centers not wanting you to lift the lockdown in the way that you wanted to. But one of the reasons to lift the lockdown is to resume economic activity, is to restore livelihoods, is to restore that sense that, the livelihood is possible again. So why do you think the center does not want you to reopen some of this, normal economic activity?
Same. I think the situation in India is still very dangerous. We are not out of the woods. In fact, look at what happened yesterday, the number of cases, new cases reported. Therefore, India government is being cautious.
Yes.
I can understand that. There's a choice between life and livelihood. And for the time being, I think we have to focus on life. But central government should see livelihood is important, therefore provide money, support. Now, you can't lock everybody down and then say, you take care of yourself. No. So that is our criticism. Regarding, delaying of opening by another week or few days, this can negotiate. We'll tell that our situation is like this. But the central government feels, no. Then we are not going to make a fight of that. Okay, that's what I say.
Explain to our viewers what you did differently that other states could learn from. I've heard two things so far. One is that you've invested more money in the public health system as a state over time. So your public health system was not maybe as unprepared. The second is, of course, it's a very high rate of literacy. Do you see these as factors, or do you see something else as factors, Thomas Isaac?
No, basic factor has been this, our public health system. Now, this is a legacy over the past 1 century. Social movements, making the demand for healthcare, and successive governments forced to respond to this popular demand. And then that's the way our public health system has evolved. And currently, our new government, we have decided to invest heavily in public health system. I tell you, 4,000 crores in infrastructure, equipment, and so on. 5,775 new posts of doctors and nurses and so on. And so we have been investing in healthcare. Now, what has happened is, the last 4 years, the primary health centers, the grassroots level, they have been strengthened. Say only one doctor was there. Now there are 3 doctors. Okay, in majority of the hospitals. So you have evening OP and so on. So, and therefore the morale of the health worker is also pretty factor, which I think people do not have not paid much attention. These institutions, primary PHCs or taluk hospitals, community health centers, they have been transferred to the local governments. Therefore, there is a tremendous local ownership by the panchayats and municipalities and so on. In fact, if you take the total expenditure, recurring expenditure of these institutions, leave aside salary, a substantial chunk comes from local governments. 3, as a fallout of that, there is a network of various types of popular support, like palliative network, very extensive. Then ASHA workers, Kudumbashree, health volunteers, and so on. So much so, this is not a government institution. There's a tremendous synergy that is created by linking these institutions with the popular assemblies and local governments.
What about the emphasis on communication as well as, the fact that the opposition and the state government were able to come together?
Let me put it this way. Communication has been very, very important. And the most important channel has been the Chief Minister himself. And now taking inputs from everywhere, there are vertical inputs, they come reports from the local governments onward. And there are state level various review committees. By evening, Chief Minister puts together the feedback from below, what happened and what should be our activities the next day, the direction, changes. Very simple, 1 hour every day, day after day in the evening. And it is, everybody is glued to it. Partly everybody feels there is a big threat and here's the leadership. It has the highest rating. This 1 hour, all serious, everything has gone down.
That's interesting.
Now, this success, I think, has irritated the opposition because they suddenly feel threatened that the entire prime time is taken by the chief minister and the government. Therefore, they are now itching for a fight. So they have made up some cock-and-bull story about the Kerala government selling the data. The thing is, we have access some 2.5 crore persons data from WHO. They have been collecting data related to tuberculosis, the surveys. So that data we have. Then we'll be collecting data when people are coming back. About 5 lakh people are arrested. So we want to put together the big data analytic, providing reports on how we can best deal with this new situation that is emerging. So we hired a Spengler. We didn't hire anything. This is a Malayali who heads it. So he said he will give free, a little bit of patriotism and so on. For the emergency period, no need of giving any money. So without thinking much, we agreed on that. And they are managing the COVID dashboard of WHO. Suddenly, let us pick up that Spengler, the data they're taking. They have got some connection with FISA. See, Kerala has this big left ethos, a little bit of anti-imperialism, very strong anti-Americanism. So suddenly, Congress is after that. That money, the data is being siphoned off and so on. We told there is a non-disclosure agreement, privacy agreement, no data, and entire data will be kept within our server. We have a cloud, Amazon clouds server for the CDT, government entity. We'll use the Spengler tool to analyze it within our, nothing. So this is a funny thing going on for the last 3 days.
Sir, the small things that the Kerala government paid attention to have caught the country's attention. For example, you all had funeral management protocols. Even funerals, what should happen at funerals, what kind of social distancing should happen, the use of volunteers. Give us one or two examples of micro details that the government thought of that other states could maybe learn from.
See, any COVID-related person, very strict uh, the protocol. But relatives, everybody would like to give it their religious burial. We provide that facility. So it will be carried to the cemetery, but everybody will have to stay. There are distances where they can stay. One or two members from the family can come. Sometimes we videograph it so the family can see it. No, you take into consideration the family also, their grief. But they are not allowed to touch the body and so on. But whatever religious ritual that has been performed, the health workers also help them to do that. See, we have given a call for volunteers. We want to have one volunteer for 100 citizens in Kerala. Anybody can sign in. They should be aged between 18 to less than and 50. So that's the age group they should belong. We are expecting some 5 lakh persons to come up. Now, it is these people who take the food to the doorsteps. It's something unbelievable. The CM says we should set up communities in every panchayat, and third day we had more than 1,000 of them. There is a Kudumbashree groups who about 300, 400 catering groups they have. All of them jumped in. Okay, they are the cooks. They prepare man the kitchen. These volunteers, they deliver the food to the doorsteps of needy. See, it cannot be, it's not a command from above. You give a direction.
Yeah.
Then at the local level, you have a vibrant local government. They would plan it. See, though we are quarreling sometimes in the state level between political parties, 50% of the local governments are controlled by Congress, 50% by us. Okay, now we have a little more, that's all. So, but therefore, for this to happen, everybody has to be at work. Everybody has to be involved.
Sure.
I think as a person involved in democratic decentralization for the last quarter century in Kerala, this has been a moment of great happiness. And that, okay, something has happened. Okay, something has changed in Kerala. This happened in Nipah.
Yeah.
This was the first time the local governments became involved in tracing people, keeping everybody under calm, because 17 people had died in a small locality.
Yes.
But then that was the first time in a health emergency, local governments involved. Then came the two floods. There was not a single case of epidemic. After relocating all these people, taking back to their houses, no. This just a tremendous intervention by the local governments. Every house was cleaned, washed, and ready for people to return from their camps. I have the personal instance. In college, I was there in the camp waiting. Then a team of NGOs from international agencies, some people came. See, then which was an honor festival, we were having dances and programs all over the playground. Small group. So it doesn't look like a relief camp. It's like some festival place. So they asked, which is the NGO which is running this? At first, I didn't understand. Then I realized. Then I pointed out to our Panchayat president. Oh, she is our NGO. Go and talk to her.
Nice.
See, this is it. So it is not just a command from above. There is something, big community involvement from below.
No, it's very inspiring, sir. But one last question. Are you worried that as you lift the restrictions, if you look at global examples in South Korea, in China, we have seen people, a second wave of infections. Even when the virus is contained, sometimes there's a second wave of infections. What is your research telling you on this? Because obviously lockdown is not a long-term solution, but that also doesn't mean that we have found a way to keep this virus away for good yet.
Okay, we had done some simulation studies, which was frightening. The way, suppose things were going in the way in the first weeks of March, then Kerala today would have something like 22,000 persons in ICU. And we wouldn't have had the facility for that. We cannot have 22 beds in ICU. No, it was such a, no, that was the situation when we decided we will intervene, and we have been successful. Now there is this danger. We are not sure. When 5 lakh people are going to come from outside, it is going to have a tremendous impact. And but we have to keep the economy going.
Yeah.
Therefore, reverse quarantining is the answers to that. So we are going to prepare for a strategy where we have to live with this for some time. It's not just going to disappear.
Yes.
So in this, 2 lessons in Kerala that which we have in so far is the importance of testing. Today I went to see the medical research center. They have now innovated certain tech by which rapid test, not rapid. If you RNA is separated, then within 10 minutes you can get the results. 50% at time. So research is going on, and testing is the key element. India government has to invest in it. Give money to startups and so on to create new test kits so that everybody intense testing is done. That's the only way we are able to test, then isolate them and treat them. So this is what is happening. Second, social distancing. One panchayat, they have called me. People are thinking of ways. They have called me on next Thursday to inaugurate their umbrella social distancing. The panchayat is going to make a resolution that nobody can come outside without an umbrella. Okay, they are willing to subsidize, give it on a higher purchase basis, the umbrellas. They are ordering it. That is, they are saying that each umbrella is half a meter. So if everybody wears umbrella, you will be always at safe distance. So Panchayat is adopting the resolution. Everybody Panchayat have to have an umbrella night or day to go out. No, you see, it may not be workable or whatever, but thing is,
people are thinking.
People do think.
Yes.
I think that's the way forward.
I think we need to feel that kind of hope in people's participation. Thomas Isaac, thank you so much. Kerala giving hope to the rest of the country, as you work towards lifting parts of the lockdown, as many as the center will allow you. Thomas Isaac, thank you so much for talking.